What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode here on the Deano Show. Good to be back with you all for this week's episode 12, I believe we are at. First of all, it does not feel like we have done 12 episodes, which is a good thing because I'm smiling and having fun doing all this. And also, dude, time is just going by. We're already almost halfway through February. January went by in a blink of an eye. February is about to be gone. It's about to be March. We're about to be 3 months into 2026. Usually around this time of year is when people start falling short of staying true to who they said they would be the beginning of this year. So if that is you, I hope that's not you, but get back on the horse, get back on your dreams, get back on the discipline, and start making shit happen and be productive with your days, because everyone believes themselves that they're going to live until 80 years old, 90 years old, 75 years old. You have really no idea when your time is up. So I hope you're taking time out of your day to pursue what you actually want to pursue, to make the most of your days, go after the things you believe in, because it's all you really can do in this world is do things for yourself and make the most of your days. So hope you're all staying true to who you said you would be, and it's good to be back with you all for this week's episode. Last week I just got my own head, to be honest. I was trying to film Tuesday and Wednesday night, and I just was getting pissed off at myself because I wasn't able to kind of talk to the camera, and I was just word salading, word vomiting. Things weren't coming off well, and I just got really mad and started questioning everything. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing this? Like, I just started beating myself up kind of for no reason, and ultimately led me to not get an episode out, unfortunately. So that's why there wasn't an episode last week. That's all I can really say about it. Hand up accountability. I got to be better. I have to be better. I got to work around the, beating myself up, stop wanting to be so much of a perfectionist, and just do it, dude, and stop beating yourself up. And like I've said before, I'm such a perfectionist, and I want things to go so aligned and everything, but the more I do this and the more I try to talk with the camera one-on-one and get words out the way I want it to get out, the more I realize perfection is impossible, and you just got to go with the flow, and that's all you really can do. That's ultimately why I didn't get an episode out last week. So if you are back for this week's episode, welcome back. I did see that I got a couple new subscribers based on the episode with Jack. So you five, I think it was five of you guys, welcome to the Deano Show. And if you are new here and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, feel free to drop a like, drop a comment, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you all a part of the journey, and you guys mean everything to me. So thank you for subscribing. Hope you guys are enjoying what I'm putting out so far, and I'm excited for the road ahead. This week I'm creating my first documentary for my mom, Culinary Works. If you do or are not familiar with her, she runs a cooking school business where she hosts cooking events for corporate, private parties, team building, all those types of stuff at her showroom, and they cook throughout the night, cook multiple different, starters, desserts. Menus kind of vary, and a lot of seasonal stuff. So this week is the Valentine's Day class. I'm going to edit all of it, and it should be out in a couple weeks. Going to be a kind of wrap of what Culinary Works is overall. She's been doing it since before I was even born, which was 2003, and here we are in 2026, so for 23 years. So we're going to kind of explain to everyone the whole story behind it, what it's like, and ask her a bunch of questions, and should be pretty cool. So stay tuned for that in the coming weeks. Yeah, I guess I'll give you a little update about what's been going on behind the scenes. So as you may or may not know, I graduated college last year with a film major and a marketing minor, and the past couple months I've been trying to break into the film industry, network with people, talk to people who own some studios in New York, all over the country, really trying to get my foot in the door any way possible, and has not worked out for me. I haven't been able to really gain any sort of experience. I'd be lying to you if it said it hasn't bothered me, that I haven't even gotten the chance to, go somewhere. A lot of it's been out of my control. Shoots have been canceled. From this, I've learned that I'm doing everything right that I need to be doing. Like, I'm not doing anything wrong, so I'm not taking it as a personal level. Like, it's a me problem. Because, like I said, I'm doing everything that I can to break in and get a job. And then there's also the side of me that I haven't been really reading the room. And what I mean by that is entrepreneurship has always been attractive to me. I've always loved the idea of running my own business, running my own company, being my own boss. Really, ever since I was a young kid, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to be my boss at whatever it was. I'm a believer that everything happens for a reason, man of faith. I think there's something going on behind the scenes and the unseen forces, which I'll get into a little bit later in this episode, about the secrets to the universe, vibration, frequency, all of that. I'll stay tuned for that. I'll talk about that later. But I think there's a reason why I haven't been able to get a job at CBS, NBC, ESPN, and these other big corporations, and ultimately hasn't worked out the way it has. And for lack of a better word, reading the room, which I was talking to someone about, and she said, well, maybe you're just not reading the room. Maybe you're not really picking up on what the unseen forces are trying to do for you, which, you know, I don't know if you guys know or not, but I think I mentioned this, that I did start my own company, Deano Media LLC. Although I haven't produced anything or really done any of that yet, it is pretty cool to have my own company, even though it's still nothing. At the moment, I'm actually in talks with people over in Pakistan about creating a website, so that's should be coming out in the coming weeks. It was funny, I was on, Google Meet with these dudes from Pakistan who are website designers and software engineers. Great conversation, really nice people, and they were really helpful in kind of my vision for the website, what I want it to look like, the philosophy about who I am, all that type of stuff. They were really helpful in, curating my vision for how I want the website to look. When I got off the Google Meet, a part of me was like, wow, I was just talking on a Zoom with people all the way from Pakistan. Like, how is that possible? I know technology and everything has gotten so advanced, especially with AI, and now we got robots walking around doing front handsprings. I don't know if you ever saw that video, but I saw a robot do a front handspring and do a backflip the other day. I was like, what the hell is going on? It's only a matter of time till I got a robot in my house doing my laundry, making my bed, whatever. Not the point of the story, but yeah, I just got really starstruck at the fact that I was talking to people all the way from Pakistan about making a website. Like, here I am in Connecticut, and here these people are totally across the world in a totally different time zone I'd never met before. I was talking to them on WhatsApp, and we set up a call, and there we were. I was talking to people from Pakistan. So that was pretty cool. Sometimes I forget, like, how crazy that actually is. Like, I'm communicating with someone in a totally different part of the world. Sometimes moments like that just make me question, like, what is Earth? Like, are we living in a simulation? Like, what, our existence is just wild. We're just floating in the Milky Way in the universe. There's gotta be other planets out there and other aliens. There has to be, right? You'd be dumb to think that there isn't another type of life out there. With the fact that the universe doesn't end and it just goes on forever, aliens are totally real. We can do a podcast for that. Whole other episode based on aliens and whatnot. But, so yeah, that's kind of Deano Media, creating a website. It's exciting. It's pretty cool. And then also, I just recently applied. I don't know if some of you definitely have heard of it, but Colony Grill. Fantastic, fantastic bar pizza. Some of the best around. I think Portnoy gave it something in the 8s, maybe even a 9. I can't exactly remember. So I applied for a job there to be a bar back and actually went in person last week, introduced myself, expressed my further interest, that I'm Griffin, looking for a job, all hours I can work, pretty much give me a job. So waiting to hear back on them and need some type of income, and got to get some more camera gear and more handles and mics and a bunch of other good stuff. So yeah, that's a little behind the scenes, trying to find jobs one way or another. And then in the meantime, pursue what actually I want to do full-time, Deano Media, podcasting, producing documentaries like I am starting up in a couple weeks. But taking that even like all over the world. I've always been fascinated by Russia for some reason. Like, I just think it's a crazy, crazy, crazy place. And I've always wanted to go there. So yeah, I think that would be really cool if I ever got the chance to go to Russia. I don't know how I would, but even just go all over the world. There's so many stories to be told, and a lot of social media and a lot of stuff you see, especially on like short form watch, is complete brain rot. Like, there's just no meaning behind any of it. I think this world is lacking authenticity and lacking real storytelling and being able to relate to one another. So that's kind of an angle I'm trying to take with documentaries and what I want to create. So we'll see what happens, and I'm excited for the road ahead. Whether or not people watch it or not, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to pursue what I feel like I was called to do and live my best life doing it. So that's kind of that. That's kind of what's going on behind the scenes, where my mind's been at, what I'm trying to figure out. And yeah, I guess second part of this podcast and kind of what I else wanted to talk about was the secrets of the universe, how the unseen forces, what those mean, the subconscious mind, the conscious mind, vibration, energy, frequency, what that whole world is. Because it's a fascinating world, and the more you're in tune to your frequency, your vibration, believe it or not, the more your life is better. So there's this quote by Serbian-American engineer Nikola Tesla, who says, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So the first thing that comes to mind when I'm thinking about that quote is the conscious mind versus the subconscious mind. And think of the conscious and subconscious mind as a big, big iceberg. Your conscious mind is about 10% of what you can see on the actual iceberg, and then the other 90% is the subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is pretty much the thinker. It's their awareness of the current reality you're in. It's where you get your logic from. It's where you get your self-awareness from. It's what goes on in your day-to-day life, what you perceive to be as reality, where you make all the decisions throughout your day and all the thoughts that come in and out. That's pretty much the conscious mind. What keeps you alive, what keeps you breathing, what keeps you aware of the moment and where you are in reality. Your subconscious mind, on the other hand, that's the programmer. That's where all the habits, that's where all the beliefs, that's where all that lays. Emotional reactions, automatic behaviors for certain situations. It's pretty much nonstop working, and even though you're unaware of it, it is always working, which in some ways can be your greatest enemy or your greatest ally. You kind of distinguish between the two, what you want your subconscious mind to be, which has ultimately led me to pick up meditation. Sitting with myself, sitting with my thoughts, all very important things to do because of your entering your subconscious brain. And for me, trying to understand myself better, trying to understand what truths I am, what truths I believe, my morals, my values, all of that information lies in the subconscious mind. And the less you pay attention to it, the less you are paying attention to who you are as a person. Your subconscious mind makes up pretty much 95% of who you are as a human. And you can be the judge of whether or not you think that's important to know, but newsflash, it's pretty damn important to know what makes up 95% of your truths, your beliefs, what you believe to be true about the world and whatnot. Because on the other hand, when you were kind of youngish, growing up in this world, you were told the world is a certain thing and you were told what to believe and what not to believe, aka the world is a dangerous place, college is important, being a musician isn't a real career, which at the time you didn't really question. You just kind of assumed they were true because a lot of these things were coming from your parents, your uncles, your grandparents, your friends, who they all heard from their parents, their uncles. So it's just truths kind of passed on to generation. And because of that, so many people are living lives in an illusion and based on other people's beliefs. And so back to meditation, when you tap into the subconscious mind, you tap into those truths that you were told that you may not believe to be true, so you can understand yourself better, what you actually believe to be true. Which is why, like I just said, your subconscious mind can be your greatest enemy or your greatest ally. And where you understand that you may react in a certain ways because of a subconscious belief you have about a certain situation. So that's what's kind of led me to understanding my subconscious better, my conscious better, my ego. All that stuff is so important. And if you want to understand yourself better, definitely recommend tapping into the subconscious mind. Really, really important and beneficial. So back to the universe, frequency, vibration, everything that you perceive as reality, everything, we are all vibrating. I'm vibrating, the person watching this vibrating, we're all vibrating on a certain frequency. And so what does it mean to pretty much be vibrating on a certain frequency? Well, it means your everyday habits, your everyday patterns all have a certain frequency. For example, if you were to live in a distraction, low self-worth, low self-discipline, that type of vibration, that type of frequency, your life's not going to be all that pretty. Your life's going to be pretty black and white, pretty low static, kind of that when you go to a TV and you turn on the wrong channel and you get that static, like annoying black and white screen sound, that's kind of the vibration you're giving off to the universe, to the world, to everyone kind of around you, because you're operating from a low self-worth, low vibration, low frequency. That's the energy you're giving off. But if you operate with intention, if you operate with a clear mind, a strong body, focused hard work, dedication, self-discipline, you're going to start moving a lot differently, and your energy is going to be way higher, your frequency is going to be way higher. You're going to start looking at the life you're living with a new lens because you're on a higher energy, you're on a higher frequency, and the universe reacts to that. So it's going to start giving you more of the things that raise your energy, that raise your frequency. And so this is where the kind of the law of attraction comes in the sense of believing that positive and negative thoughts shape your reality, shape your world, and which is totally true, because the more positive life, the more positive thoughts you think, the more positive your life's going to be. But the more negative, the more low frequency your life is, the more the universe is going to give you that in return. It's kind of a two-way street. You give it a lot of energy, give it a lot of frequency, good investment, good return from the universe. Same goes for low energy, low frequency. the universe is giving you that back. So I guess my main takeaway, my main point, what I'm trying to get at with you guys is understand your subconscious brain, because like I said, it literally controls 95% of your day-to-day life that you aren't even aware of. So that's pretty damn important to understand. And also, vibrate at a frequency that the universe can give you the good things in return. It does you no good. In fact, it honestly hurts you more if you're vibrating at a low frequency. The law of attraction is great when you're working with the positive thoughts, positive thinking, but the same way goes for negative thinking. The universe and the subconscious mind doesn't care if you're a good person, doesn't care if you're a bad person. All it cares about is what frequency you are vibrating on. And the higher the frequency, the higher the positive thoughts, the higher the thinking, the more it's going to give you of that. And the lower the frequency, the lower the negative thoughts, the more it's going to give you more of that. So be cautious with that. Understand that. Understand the patterns you are shaping in your everyday life, because that ultimately shapes your reality. Control what you can control. Raise your standard. Move with rhythm. Move with good intention. Move with positivity. And I promise you, you will see your life change. It won't be instant. It will not be instant, but it'll be worth it, and it will take time, because when you are finally through the positive light, there's no better feeling than being aligned with the universe, because the universe can give you it all. So that's all. That's my little explanation of the subconscious mind, conscious mind. I hope that kind of makes sense. I've been reading books about this stuff, and I'm trying to get it out into words and get my words to make sense. So if that makes sense, and I hope it does, you at least understood something from my 10-minute little TED Talk on frequency, universe, and vibration. So that's kind of all I got for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, if you are new here, feel free to smash that subscribe button, drop a like, drop a comment. And I'll see you guys next week on the next episode. Peace out.